Joining us now is Helima Croft. She is RBC Capital Markets Global Head of Commodity Strategy. Helima, good to speak with you. I mean, you see a 10 or 11% drop in crude, whether you're looking at Brent or WTI in a day. Clearly, the market is at least bracing for some kind of major impact on demand. Does that make any sense to you?
I mean, clearly this was more effective in bringing down prices in the SPR release earlier this week. But the market has been concerned about COVID since the end of October. I mean, part of the reason why we've had oil decline since the end of October was the introduction of lockdown restrictions in places like Austria, concerns that you would have other governments in Europe follow suit. And so I do think the market is concerned. They're concerned about government restrictions and what that could mean for mobility. And, you know, you have a situation now where we're bracing for 65 to 70 million barrels of additional oil hitting this market, just as we have new concerns about demand emerging. So it's not surprising that we've had this sell-off today. It is a thinly traded day. We just have to wait to see what happens next week with the market. And we're going into a very, very important OPEC meeting. And right now, the Saudi oil minister looks a bit like an oracle for warning that it was too soon to say that Delta was in the rearview mirror.
Right. So what does that tell you about the I guess, the leaning of OPEC at this point? I mean, you know, now that we've seen prices fall back to really below where they were in June and July at times, do you think that that means that they will be curtailing supply to the degree they have agreement to do so?
I mean, we already thought that OPEC might hit the pause button on their 400,000 barrel a day monthly increase because of the SPR action. I think now as we head into the OPEC meeting on Thursday, it's a question not only will they do a pause, but potentially will they actually pull back some barrels because of concerns about this new variant alongside this very large SPR release. I mean, I think it's worth noting that this SPR release, while it underwhelmed the market, is still the largest SPR release the U.S. has done in history. So we are going to have a lot of barrels hitting this market just as we have these concerns about potential new COVID lockdown restrictions. Again, too soon to say whether governments will pull the trigger on such measures, but the market will be concerned.
Helima, WTI is now $69. It's down 12%. What kind of economic situation is that pricing in?
I mean, again, I think what it's pricing in is two things. I think it's pricing in the fact that, again, we have this very large amount of new oil set to hit the market from consuming countries. And it is a concern about lockdown restrictions. I mean, we do have these restrictions in Austria now. There were concerns about spreading these type of measures to countries like Germany. And so I think anytime you get news about a new variant, we go to the place of fear about lockdown restrictions. It's too soon to say whether other countries will follow suit. But oil had already been pricing in this COVID concern. It's been pricing that in since the end of October.